Hello there, welcome to Garden Hues. Today we're looking at pruning a climbing rose. There's two climbing roses here, one below and one up there. I've done the one below, so we're going to look at doing this one up the top here. So I will speak as I prune. So first of all, you take the dead wood out. So there's a bit of dead wood there, and any diseased wood you see as well, so that's looking a bit dodgy. Take that out. That's most of the dead wood. And then what you're trying to do is to get the the rose as horizontal as you can, but also to simplify the structure of it. The more horizontal the rose is, the more flowers you'll get, because it sends up shoots from the horizontal stems, and each of those usually has flowers on. Whereas if you don't have horizontal shoots, you just get flowers on the top of the shoots that are going up like that. So I'm just looking first, I'm cutting off some of these side shoots. Now these side shoots, the one that are coming off the horizontal ones, you cut back to just a couple of what are called nodes, which is where the bumpy bits where the leaves come out of. And then we can see a little bit better what we're doing. So I'm going to cut these back just a little bit, because we're going to be cutting them back much further, just so we can see what we're doing. So at first this will look like a whole mess of different leaves and stems, but it will become clearer as we tie things in. So that is going to be the first horizontal stem I'm going to tie in. That's quite an old one, but it's healthy and it's still producing, so I'm going to keep that for now. And we will tie that in horizontally, about like that. So I'm taking off previous ties and putting on some new ties. I usually use string, natural string, partly because it looks nice in the garden, partly because it doesn't get too tight and it doesn't bite into roses the same way that a piece of wire does. Right, so what I'm doing now is any little side shoots, like these ones that are coming off the main horizontal stems, I will cut back to about 3 nodes, that's 3 little bumps, or 3 places where the leaves come out from the main stem. So as you can see, this main stem is also caught behind another stem. So if you're going to be retraining the rose at the same time, you want to take that stem and that stem off their ties so that you can sort the whole thing out. So you need to leave yourself enough time to do this, really, because it does take time to do it properly, and it is worth doing it properly because you're only going to do this once a year. And then the results of it will show for the rest of the year. So if you do this properly, you then should get a nicely shaped rose flowering a lot during its flowering season. What we're doing is looking for something that's a node there where the leaf usually comes out like that. So if you knock the leaf out, you will see you've got a node there. So here I have trimmed 1, 2, 3. Now because these nodes are quite far apart, I'm actually going to trim it down to the second node. And when you trim them off, do the usual slanting cut like that to let the water run off. So again here, I'll go to the second node there and there. There. So all of these I'm going to take quite short. There's the second node there. And usually you take it between 2 and 5 nodes. And as always with these things, you want to cut it so that the node is pointing in the direction of where you want the stem to grow next year. That one I just cut off because it was dead. So that one is going to grow in that direction next year. This one is going to go downwards. That one is going to go upwards. Now this is coming through from the other side and I've already cut it, so I'll just take that off. These ones, again, back to 2 nodes. That one is going to grow that way now. So that's the sort of way. So you can see this is last year's cut. It's got a bit damaged during the year, but that was last year's cut. That was the node that I cut it to, and it's grown in that direction, which is the general plan. So next year, all of these should be growing out of the sides like that. I'm going to cut this one a little bit lower this time. I will cut it to there, because this is an incredibly vigorous rose. Sometimes if you can't see very well, because the light today is not very good, you can actually feel where the nodes are, where it's sticking out a little bit. Because you're wanting to just simplify the whole structure really at this time, as well as making it as horizontal as possible. And to avoid too many crossing stems, you're also cutting things back so that they don't cross if possible. Sometimes it's almost impossible to avoid crossing stems, but if you can, it's definitely worth it. So we're beginning to get a structure that looks a bit more tidy and makes a bit more sense. So that's a nice, thick, healthy stem there that I can tie in. Right, so I'm now going on to the next layer of tying in. Put that one out the way for now. I'm going to tie this one in. And believe me, this takes years of practice to get so you feel confident in what you're doing, and you can just go, oh yes, I'll take this one out, I'll take that one out. And also, roses have their own personalities really in what they do and don't like, and how much they like being tied back or not tied back, how much they like being cut back really. Some hate it and are very fussy if you cut them back. Others, they really don't mind a bit of hard pruning and they will grow beautifully again. And usually climbing roses, and definitely rambling roses, don't mind quite a lot of cutting back. As I say, the main bits to cut back in a climber are the other side shoots that are coming up off the main horizontals. Right, so we've got another small shoot there, which has been tied in previously, but this time I'm going to take that one out because I've got a lot of nice healthy shoots to tie in here. Daisy. We had a bit of a debate about this one because it's a lovely, thick, strong horizontal. It's getting a bit old and we've got some new young horizontals to tie in. So I'm going to bite the bullet and take this one off. So again, I've left the node that's pointing in this direction, so a new young shoot should grow in this direction now. Sometimes it's just a case of thinking what's going to be best for the longer term for the plant as well. And sometimes you do have to take these nice healthy shoots off, even though you're reluctant to do so, because it works for the shape and the health of the plant. So I'm going to put that one in there. So again here, this is a lovely thick, nice stem, but it's going to clutter the place up if I put it on there because you're going to get lots of stems growing off it. So I'm just going to cut that back to a node there. Right. Yes, Nick, that would help incredibly if you went to Jackie's. You sure you don't mind though?
No. I'll have a quick look about you putting down I was for the paint, but everywhere somewhere.
It is, it really is. Yep. To keep that now. Well, it's going to be pretty much like this for the next few days, I think.
I think what I might do is try to get to the habit of just doing it. Once you use the summer.
Yeah. Good idea.
Even if I was twice in the summertime.
Yep.
There's nowhere you can go.
No.
Fly,
Yeah.
even if it's just a step from the front door down to the bottom.
Yeah, that's fine. Now you can see there's a bit of damage there. You may not be able to see that, but there's a bit of damage there, and that is damage from rubbing. So here, if I leave this bit and that bit in this position, they're going to rub against each other and produce a wound like that. That's healed quite nicely, so I'm going to leave that for now instead of cutting it off. I'm going to rethink how to position this. And for the moment, I'm going to tie it up like that, but I may end up cutting it off. Right, we are getting there. Put that down there. Now, hopefully you can see that this is producing quite a nice sort of fan shape across this trellis. A fan shape which is keeping as many as possible of the branches horizontal. Now again, there, I've got some crossing, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that bit off there, so it's no longer crossing. So I have a rethink here because we've got all of this, which is very vigorous, very lovely, but it towers above there. So it'll often put sort of 5 foot on above this, which we don't really want. So I'm going to cut it down. I think most of that is going to come off, even though it's healthy. Yep, so that's a very main stem, but I think it's one we no longer need. So I'm going to cut it to a low node, and then that can be regrowing from that node for next year, producing strong new shoots for the years after. You want to keep things as fairly tight to the trellis, but if you've got a wall behind the trellis, then you still want to have some airflow there. But with this trellis, because it's freestanding, I would like to keep it fairly tight so that the rose doesn't then get in the way of people walking past. And you do get to know your roses, you get to know what they do and don't like and what they will and won't tolerate. And this one definitely tolerates hard pruning every year without fail. I usually sterilise my tools with methylated spirits. So I just have a methylated spirit spray and pop them on my tools. Now, you can do it between each rose, or if it's lots of roses together in a garden, they will probably have been infecting each other anyway. So then I would do one lot of roses that are together and then sterilise my tools before I go on to another lot of roses in a different part of the garden or in somebody else's garden. So happy pruning, and I hope you enjoy that.
Don't forget, like, comment, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.